Do you sometimes find yourself walking into a room and then suddenly forgetting why you went there? Or maybe you pause mid-sentence, searching for a word that just won't come to you. These little moments, sometimes dismissed as just a part of getting older, can be more than just harmless senior moments. They can be a quiet signal from your brain, a gentle whisper that something might be off. It's a painful reality that as we gracefully age, our minds, the very essence of who we are, can become more vulnerable. We cherish our memories, our ability to think clearly, to learn new things, and the thought of losing that sharpness can be truly unsettling. But what if I told you that some of the foods we enjoy, those delicious, comforting treats that bring a smile to our faces, might actually be quietly working against our brain health? It's a secret many of us aren't aware of. Yet it has a profound impact on our cognitive vitality. In this video, we're going to uncover 6 of these seemingly innocent foods that, after the age of 60, can subtly but surely begin to damage your brain. Understanding this isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about giving you the knowledge to make small, informed choices that can have a huge positive ripple effect on your mental clarity, your memory, and your overall brain health for years to come. So settle in, because knowing what we're about to discuss could truly be a game changer for your mind. And make sure you watch to the very end, because there's one surprise food that many of us consider healthy, but which might be one of the most unexpected quiet threats to your brain. Let's dive right into the first one. A culprit that's probably hiding in plain sight in almost every kitchen and grocery aisle: added sugars and those tempting sugary drinks. We're not just talking about the obvious culprits like sodas and candy bars, though they are certainly high on the list. We're talking about the hidden sugars in fruit juices that claim to be natural, in those seemingly healthy breakfast cereals, in many of the sauces and condiments you use every day, and even in some savory processed foods. It's a pervasive ingredient in our modern diet, and its impact on the brain, especially as we age, is far more significant than most of us realize. When you consume a lot of sugar, especially quickly absorbed refined sugars, your body experiences a rapid spike in blood sugar. Over time, these repeated spikes can lead to insulin resistance, not just in your body, but in your brain too. Think of insulin as the key that unlocks your cells to let glucose, or sugar, in for energy. When your brain cells become insulin resistant, they struggle to get the energy they need to function optimally. This can result in brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and even issues with memory retrieval, making those tip-of-the-tongue moments more frequent and frustrating. It's like trying to run your car on low-quality fuel. It might sputter along, but it won't perform at its best. Beyond insulin resistance, high sugar intake fuels inflammation throughout your body, including your brain. Chronic inflammation is a silent enemy, eroding neural pathways, contributing to the breakdown of brain cells, and has even been linked to an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Imagine a tiny, persistent fire flickering inside your brain. That's what chronic inflammation is doing. What can you do about it? The good news is, you don't have to cut out every single sweet treat instantly. Start by becoming a detective. Read food labels carefully. Look for terms like high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, dextrose, maltose, and even seemingly innocent fruit juice concentrates. These are all forms of added sugar. Try to reduce your intake of sugary beverages first. Swap sodas for sparkling water with a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime. Instead of juice, eat whole fruits, which provide fiber that slows down sugar absorption and offers beneficial nutrients. For your morning coffee or tea, gradually reduce the amount of sugar you add, or explore natural, unsweetened flavorings like cinnamon or vanilla. When you bake or cook at home, try to reduce the sugar called for in recipes by a quarter or even a third. You'll be surprised how quickly your taste buds adapt and how much better your brain will feel. Now that we've started to uncover the sneaky truth about hidden sugars, let's move on to our next surprising culprit: highly processed foods. These are the items that often come in a bag, a box, or are part of a quick, convenient meal you can microwave in minutes. Think about those tempting bags of crisps, the cookies and pastries that line supermarket shelves, the ready-to-eat frozen dinners, and much of what you find in fast food restaurants. While they are undeniably delicious and incredibly convenient, they are a significant burden on your brain health, particularly as we get older. These foods are engineered for taste and shelf life, not for nutrition. They are typically loaded with unhealthy fats, like trans fats and excessive amounts of omega-6 fatty acids from industrial seed oils such as soybean, corn, and sunflower oils. They also contain artificial ingredients, preservatives, flavor enhancers, and often, as we just discussed, a lot of added sugar and salt. The problem with trans fats and an imbalanced omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is that they promote systemic inflammation. Your brain, being incredibly sensitive, suffers greatly from this. Chronic inflammation can damage the delicate network of neurons and synapses in your brain, leading to impaired communication between brain cells. This can manifest as reduced cognitive speed, difficulty with problem solving, and a general feeling of mental sluggishness. Furthermore, many processed foods undergo extensive processing that strips them of vital nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, which are crucial for protecting your brain from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rust forming on the intricate machinery of your brain, damaging cells and accelerating the aging process. What can you do to avoid these brain-damaging foods? The most impactful step is to prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. This means focusing on fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains. Instead of buying packaged snacks, prepare your own. A handful of nuts, a piece of fruit, or some vegetable sticks with hummus can be just as satisfying and infinitely better for your brain. When you do buy packaged foods, take a moment to read the ingredient list. If it contains ingredients you don't recognize, or a long list of additives, it's probably best to put it back on the shelf. Cooking at home more often gives you complete control over what goes into your body and, by extension, into your brain. It allows you to use fresh, brain-boosting ingredients and healthy cooking methods. Small changes, like swapping your usual crisp packet for an apple or making your own simple soup instead of a canned one, can make a tremendous difference over time. Remember, your brain is the command center of your body, and it deserves the highest quality fuel you can provide. Now that we've uncovered the truth about hidden sugars and the broad category of processed snacks, let's talk about something many of us reach for, thinking it's the healthier choice: artificial sweeteners. You find them in diet sodas, sugar-free yogurts, chewing gum, and a vast array of other products marketed as healthier alternatives to sugar-laden options. They seem like a smart swap, offering sweetness without the calories or blood sugar spikes. However, the emerging science suggests that these laboratory-created sweeteners, like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, might be playing a trick on our brains and our bodies, especially as we age. The biggest concern revolves around their impact on our gut microbiome, the vast community of bacteria living in our intestines. This gut-brain connection is incredibly powerful. A healthy gut means a healthier brain, and artificial sweeteners have been shown to disrupt the delicate balance of beneficial gut bacteria. When this balance is disturbed, it can lead to inflammation, alter neurotransmitter production, those chemical messengers that regulate mood and cognition, and potentially impact brain function. Your brain gets confused. It tastes sweetness, anticipating an incoming rush of sugar. But then that sugar never arrives. This can lead to increased cravings for real sugar, making it harder to break free from the cycle of wanting sweet things. Some studies have even suggested potential links between artificial sweetener consumption and an increased risk of stroke, dementia, and even depression in older adults. It's not a direct cause and effect, but enough concerning evidence to make us rethink their healthy label. What's the practical advice here if you're a regular consumer of diet drinks or sugar-free products? Try to gradually reduce your reliance on them. Instead of a diet soda, reach for plain water, unsweetened tea, or naturally flavored sparkling water. If you need sweetness in your coffee or on your oatmeal, try a tiny bit of natural sweeteners like pure maple syrup or raw honey, used sparingly, or even just some fruit. The goal isn't to demonize all sweetness, but to help your palate adjust to less intense sweet flavors and appreciate the natural sweetness in whole foods. It's about retraining your taste buds and giving your gut, and by extension, your brain, a much-needed break from these synthetic compounds. It's easy to think we're making a smart swap, but sometimes we're just trading one problem for another. Our next food category is something we often crave for its comforting crunch and satisfying taste: deep-fried foods. Whether it's crispy chips, golden French fries, succulent fried chicken, or even those delectable donuts, deep-fried items are a staple in many diets. But what makes them so delicious is precisely what makes them a quiet threat to your brain after 60. When foods are deep-fried, especially in unhealthy oils like vegetable oils, corn, soy, sunflower, they undergo a transformation that creates harmful compounds. One of the most insidious are advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These aren't just about aging skin. AGEs accumulate in your body and brain, promoting oxidative stress and inflammation. Think of AGEs as sticky, damaging molecules that can gum up the works of your brain, impairing cognitive function and potentially contributing to neurodegenerative diseases. Furthermore, the high heat used in deep frying, combined with unstable oils, can create trans fats, which we touched on earlier, and oxidize healthy fats, turning them into harmful ones. These unhealthy fats directly impact the cell membranes of your brain, making them less fluid and less capable of communicating effectively. This can lead to reduced memory, slower processing speed, and an increased risk of conditions like Alzheimer's. The excessive calories and unhealthy fat content in fried foods also contribute to systemic inflammation and can lead to weight gain, which is itself a risk factor for cognitive decline. So, what's the alternative to that irresistible crunch? The good news is, you can still enjoy crispy textures without deep frying. Explore healthier cooking methods like baking, air frying, grilling, or roasting. For example, instead of deep-fried chips, try baking thinly sliced potatoes or sweet potatoes until crispy. Air fryers have become very popular for a reason. They can deliver that satisfying crunch with significantly less oil. If you do use oil for cooking, choose healthier options like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, and use them in moderation. And when it comes to enjoying deep-fried treats, consider them an occasional indulgence, a once-in-a-while pleasure rather than a regular part of your diet. Your brain will thank you for making these conscious choices. From crispy fried delights, let's turn our attention to something that forms the basis of many meals, often without us giving it a second thought: refined grains. We are talking about white bread, white pasta, white rice, many common breakfast cereals, and countless baked goods made with white flour. These foods are staples in diets worldwide, offering convenience and a familiar taste. However, the process of refining grains strips away much of their nutritional value, including the bran and germ, which contain fiber, B vitamins, and important minerals. What's left is primarily starch, which behaves very similarly to sugar in your body. When you consume refined grains, they are rapidly broken down into glucose, causing a quick and significant spike in your blood sugar levels, just like with added sugars. These frequent blood sugar surges can lead to insulin resistance in the brain, impairing its ability to function optimally. This can manifest as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, mood swings, and a feeling of mental fatigue shortly after eating. Over time, this constant assault on your blood sugar regulation can contribute to chronic inflammation and oxidative stress. both of which are detrimental to brain health and increase the risk of cognitive decline. Think of it this way: your brain prefers a steady, sustained supply of energy, not roller coaster highs and lows. Whole grains, on the other hand, contain all parts of the grain, including the fiber. This fiber slows down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates, leading to a more gradual and stable release of glucose into your bloodstream. This provides your brain with a consistent energy supply, helping you maintain focus, energy, and mental clarity throughout the day. So, what's the practical shift you can make? It's often as simple as making a swap. Instead of white bread, choose whole wheat bread. Opt for brown rice or quinoa instead of white rice. Swap white pasta for whole wheat pasta, or even alternatives made from legumes like chickpeas or lentils. For breakfast, choose plain rolled oats instead of sugary, refined cereals. These small changes can make a world of difference in stabilizing your blood sugar, reducing inflammation, and providing your brain with the sustained nourishment it needs to stay sharp and vibrant. And finally, for our sixth and perhaps most surprisingly damaging food group, let's talk about something that makes almost everything taste better, but can have a hidden cost for your brain: excessive salt, often found in conjunction with processed meats. We're not talking about a sprinkle of sea salt on your home-cooked meal. We're focusing on the incredibly high levels of sodium found in processed foods like cured meats, bacon, ham, sausages, hot dogs, as well as canned soups, ready-made meals, salty snacks, and many restaurant dishes. While salt is essential for bodily functions, too much of it is a silent adversary for your brain health after 60. The primary way excessive sodium harms your brain is by contributing to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for stroke, which can cause immediate and severe brain damage. But even without a full-blown stroke, chronic high blood pressure quietly damages the tiny, delicate blood vessels in your brain. These blood vessels are crucial for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain cells and for removing waste products. When they become stiff and narrow due to high blood pressure, the blood flow to certain areas of the brain can be significantly reduced. This sustained lack of adequate blood flow starves brain cells, impairs cognitive function, and is a leading cause of vascular dementia, a common form of memory loss and cognitive decline in older adults. Processed meats not only contain high levels of sodium, but also nitrates and nitrites, which can form harmful compounds in the body and contribute to inflammation, further impacting brain health. So, what steps can you take to protect your brain from this salty threat? The most effective strategy is to reduce your reliance on processed and prepackaged foods. Instead of using salt as your primary seasoning, explore the wonderful world of herbs and spices: fresh rosemary, thyme, garlic, onion powder, paprika, turmeric. These can add incredible flavor to your dishes without the sodium load. When you do buy packaged foods, always check the nutrition facts label for sodium content and choose low-sodium versions whenever possible. Be mindful of restaurant meals, as they often contain very high levels of sodium. Ask for sauces and dressings on the side, or choose lighter, less processed options. And significantly limit your intake of processed meats. Swap them for fresh lean proteins like chicken, fish, beans, or lentils. Making these changes can help keep your blood pressure in a healthy range, ensuring a steady, oxygen-rich blood supply to your precious brain, keeping it sharp and vibrant for years to come. We've embarked on a fascinating journey today, uncovering how seemingly innocent choices, those delicious comfort foods we often enjoy, can quietly chip away at our brain's resilience as we gracefully age. We've explored how that sweet drink or crispy snack, laden with hidden sugars and processed fats, can fuel inflammation and disrupt your brain's delicate balance. We've considered how even artificial sweeteners, once thought to be a clever solution, might be confusing your brain and upsetting your gut, which in turn impacts your mind. And we've talked about how those comforting, deep-fried delights, along with everyday refined grains and those salty processed meats, can silently contribute to issues with blood flow and cellular damage in your brain. But here's the empowering truth: knowing is the first step towards transformation. You have the incredible power to nourish and protect your brain with every single meal. This isn't about perfection. It's about making small, consistent, conscious choices. It's about choosing a piece of fruit over a sugary pastry, opting for a whole grain bread instead of white, or reaching for fresh herbs to flavor your food instead of relying on excessive salt. Every single mindful decision is an investment in your mental clarity, your memory, and your overall cognitive vitality for years to come. Remember, your brain is an extraordinary organ, capable of learning, adapting, and thriving well into your golden years. You are not destined for cognitive decline just because you're getting older. In fact, by embracing these simple dietary shifts, you're actively building a stronger, more resilient brain. Imagine the joy of recalling names with ease, learning new hobbies with enthusiasm, and sharing vivid memories with your loved ones, all because you chose to fuel your brain with the nourishment it truly deserves. What are your thoughts on these foods? Have you already noticed a difference when you've cut back on any of them? Perhaps you have some fantastic brain-boosting recipes or simple swaps you've discovered that have made a positive impact. Share your experiences and tips in the comments below. Your insights can truly help so many others in our wonderful community. If you found this video helpful and empowering, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this information. And consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to share more practical, encouraging advice to help you live your best, most vibrant life at every age. Thank you for joining me today. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep living your best life at every age.